This is the story of Francis Arthur Jefferson. Francis was born on the 18th of August 1921 in Ulverston, Lancashire. During the Second World War, he enlisted into the South Lancashire Regiment on the 19th of February 1942. On the 27th of May 1943, he landed in North Africa, and on the 14th of June 1943, he transferred to the Lancashire Fusiliers, serving in 13th Platoon, 2nd Battalion. On the 16th of May 1944, his battalion was involved in an attack on the Gustav Line, Monte Cassino, Italy. The leading company of Fusilier Jefferson's battalion had to dig in without protection. The enemy counterattacked, opening fire at short range, and Fusilier Jefferson, on his own initiative, seized a Piat and, running forward under a hail of bullets, fired on the leading tank. It burst into flames and its crew were killed. The Fusilier then reloaded and went towards the second tank, which withdrew before he could get within range. By this time, British tanks had arrived, and the enemy counterattack was smashed with heavy casualties. Fusilier Jefferson's gallant act not only merely saved the lives of his company and caused many casualties to the Germans, but also broke up the enemy counterattack and had a decisive effect on the subsequent operation. His supreme gallantry and disregard of personal risk contributed very largely to the success of the action. For this action, Fusilier Francis Arthur Jefferson was awarded the Victoria Cross. The following day, after his VC action, he was promoted to Lance Corporal and received a shrapnel wound to his shoulder on the 21st of June 1944. Evacuated to England by air, arriving on the 26th of August 1944, and was admitted to the military hospital at Catterick, Yorkshire. Whilst back in England, he attended his investiture with his parents at Buckingham Palace, where his medal was presented to him by King George VI. He was discharged from the army on the 17th of July 1946. Frank had married during the war and had 2 children. He emigrated to the United States with his family in the mid-1950s to start a new life. Sadly, the marriage ended in divorce, and in April 1975, Frank returned home to Lancashire, suffering from ill health, and moved in with his widowed mother, Ethel, in Luton Street, Bolton. Sadly, the last 6 years of Frank's life were a struggle, as he found life difficult back in England looking for employment, and his only source of income was a supplementary benefit of £9.72 a week and his VC pension of £1.92. Although he had retained his British citizenship despite living in the USA, his insurance cards had not been stamped, and therefore he could not claim unemployment benefit. He was tempted to sell his coveted Victoria Cross, worth around £7,000 at the time, but couldn't bear to part with it. Sadly, in 1982, his prized possession was stolen from his mother's home, and to this day has never been recovered. Frank never recovered from this blow, and began to drink heavily and suffered with bouts of depression. On the 4th of September 1982, just 200 yards away from his home, he was struck by a passing train, and despite being rushed to Bolton Infirmary, he passed away at the age of just 61. He was cremated at Overdale Crematorium, Bolton, and following his wishes, his ashes were scattered in the Memorial Gardens at Wellington Barracks, Bury. If you like listening to the stories of the history of those who came before, then please give the video a like and subscribe to keep updated about future videos of the history of those who came before.